In the midst of trying to start up a really cool Spider-Man collection of Marvel Legends figures, I also noticed that there were some amazing options for comic variants of the mainline Avenger heroes. I've also noticed that these are all pretty much sold out across NZ, so once I had the opportunity to get them, I didn't want to let that pass. This is the Marvel Legends Extremis Iron Man figure, which released this year, pretty early on I think. He's part of the Puff Out a Build-A-Figure wave, but contains no pieces, which is a positive for someone like me, because I'm not interested into the Build-A-Figure aspect as much as other people. He will be starting my collection as I try to grab all mainline heroes, some of which I already have as of recording this. It's been a pretty successful year for me so far. This is Iron Man out of his plastic-free packaging. Right off the bat, I'm really surprised by this figure because I didn't know how different the plastic used for him really was compared to others. I really like it when action figures have different textures from one another to help sell that design, that they have different materials, and he definitely feels different from, say, my Spider-Man figures, but I don't think that this is entirely a good thing either. It just feels like it's a very cheap plastic I don't really like, but bearing in mind this is likely totally normal. I just personally didn't know that this was the material used. I do love how this armor looks to shine as though it's realistic, and the paint looks really good as well. It looks as though it's a metal tone, a lot more so than say how some cloth designs look when they're in plastic. The figure looks really good overall, and I like all the articulation that's involved with him. Mine has a little bit of some weird posing issues with his legs. I was just surprised quality-wise with how he felt because it feels like it's a completely different brand to me, a novice when it comes to toy collecting. I've been seeing people's really cool flight displays online, and it set me up to thinking that this amazing idea of a display stand would actually be included with Iron Man figures. It's not, but I really think that that should be something included with the figures. I'd even consider paying a bit more. Display stands are really great, and I appreciate them being included. His only accessories are swappable hands, which he has open palms over fists, and the palms reactors are exposed because there's also these really neat little blasting pieces that can be inserted into the hand. Mine has some warping issues out of the packaging, which I think everyone assumed was going to happen the moment they announced plastic-free designs. I really love how this figure looks when these are attached. You can pose him to make it as though he's firing on someone or make it look like he's flying. I'm really glad that I bought this one as my definitive one Iron Man figure from comics. The Extremis armor is a fan favorite, so it's nice to see it here, and this figure is being sold between around 50 to 60 NZ dollars here, but I don't think he's worth that. It's hard enough to sell me on spending $45 on these figures. I was able to get him using store credit though, so I didn't have to pay anything at that full price, but he seems almost impossible to find in NZ now, so maybe he is worth it in the long run.